We have less than 2 hours or thereabout for this presentation because we've lost a bit of time, but there's no problem. There's no time that is lost when it's Koiki Media. We are streaming on the Koiki Media backup channel. Tele channel and we don't know why. Boya ko yeyin ni boya understanding it. It's very easy. We try our best to make sure that we can send our broadcast to many places. We are live on the backup channel, which is called the Koiki, which is called the WD76 Media. Fanfanity more channel here. We have just 554 subscribers. Ite Modadani Koiki Media, which is the one that I am also streaming from in front of me. That one has about 42,000 subscribers, but unfortunately we are finding it difficult to also tell those on that platform to go and subscribe. So I'm gonna share a link here. Find it, buy it, for whatever reason, subscribe. I don't own owner of this platform. We can only hope that one day we will have our own platform in the future. But while we are using all these social media for the Yoruba Nation campaign, it can stop working. They can take our video down. We can be reported. All these means nothing. But one thing is, we should just have it at the back of our mind that what we want, we must not allow anybody to pull us down. Mokibu Bualenkonsi, and welcome to the transmission. Somebody said I look tired. Well, there's no doubt you cannot have this kind of nature of job and you will not get tired, especially if you're working around the clock when people don't know that. But we appreciate those of you that are concerned. I do take enough rest, and if I want to take time off, I don't need to tell any one of you. I can just go on a short break and I'll come back again. But for now, we are still strong and we are doing our best, and I can only give thanks. I'm not going to be mentioning names and be welcoming everybody because of the time constraint. Edekalosi Turkey, Laroy, Abilosoi. It's now 2:30 a.m. Nibolokbeni Turkey. The name has been changed recently. Ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ yín mọ̀ sí Turkey. But Bashimba Soro Leni, it is now called Turkiya, so that Kema makes a pronunciation here, especially from Eitewanile. Àwọn kan ti láǹfààní àti gbàbẹ̀ travel, maybe because you've used the Turkish airline. Very, very powerful airline that travels to many places around the world. I have flew the Turkish airline. It's not a very bad airline to travel with, now that we are promoting them. Why Timothy Law say Turkey? I wonder where kilo tún ṣẹlẹ̀ ní Turkey. What has Turkey got to do with Yoruba Nation campaign? I think what has Turkey has to do with our quest to self-determination. The reason why I am going to link Turkey with this broadcast today is Lori backup channel. The headline says, who do we blame for the current problem in southwest Nigeria? A lot of us seems to want to always blame what took place after the regional government was destroyed, which we all have the right to do so. You can't destroy it. But the present situation in Southwest today, who should we hold responsible? Ṣé Dr. Lóyè Sunday Igboho ní ká mú gẹ́gẹ́ bí ẹni tó da ilẹ̀ Yorùbá rú lénìí after 24 years or 23 years of democracy? Ṣé Bọ̀dé George ní ká mú? Ṣé Bàbá Akíntóyè ní ká mú? Ṣé bàbá wa Pa Ayọ̀ Adébánjọ ní ká mú? Ẹ̀yin náà máa wo gbogbo àwọn tí ó ń bẹ nílẹ̀ Yorùbá. Bàbá Fáṣọ̀rántì a sọ̀rọ̀ àwọn ọba rẹ́sìn. We are not linking the royal fathers. A fi àwọn yẹn sílẹ̀ and respect them as they are. But the present ilẹ̀ Yorùbá lénìí, who should we hold responsible? Ta ni ó yẹ kó gba gbogbo blame problem tá à ń face nísìn? Ṣé àwọn politicians wa nílẹ̀ Yorùbá, àbáwọn politicians nílẹ̀ Igbo, àbáwọn politicians ní Middle Belt, àbáwọn politicians ní ilẹ̀ Haúsá? Ta ni ó wà responsible for reason why ilẹ̀ Yorùbá rí bó ṣe rí lénìí? I am not sure whether láti 1999 a rí ẹ̀yà míì tó yàtọ̀ sí ẹ̀yà tiwa tó govern wa for 24 years. So that indicate that látìgbà tí a ti padà sí democracy, according to what we are told, mo rò pé Haúsá kọ̀ọ̀kan di governor mọ́ wa lọ́wọ́, mo rẹ̀ rò pé ọmọ Igbo sì di governor mọ́ wa lọ́wọ́. So ta ni ká mú, ta ni ká hold responsible? Ṣáwọn pastor ni ká mú ká hold wọn responsible? Ṣáwọn imam, ṣáwọn oníṣẹ̀ṣe, àbí ṣé àwa tá jẹ́ ọmọ Yorùbá náà ni ká hold ara wa responsible? Maybe you might want to put that in the comment section and let us know. You might be asking why this question, because the current problem tí Southwest in face lénìí, a gbọ́dọ̀ mú àwọn kan responsible fún. We must hold people responsible for the current state of situation nílẹ̀ Yorùbá lénìí. Somebody must be held responsible. Ṣé Koiki Media ni kẹ́ mú responsible? Ṣé Yorùbá World Media? Ṣé Yorùbá Home Based Media? But mo fẹ́ kẹ́ máa rántí pé I am not talking about the last 3 years now. I am talking about from 1999 tàti gbà kúrò lọ́wọ́ àwọn military títí di wákàtí. Who should we hold responsible? Ṣáwọn lawyer ni ká hold responsible? Ṣáwọn doctor ni ká hold responsible? Ta lẹni tí a gbọ́dọ̀ hold responsible for the current situation in Southwest? Let's go back to Turkey, or Turkey, Turkiye. Ìlú kan náà lòun náà tí ó ń bẹ ní àgbáyé, níbi tí mo lè sọ pé ibi báyìí ni máàpù wọn wà, because mo ṣàmọ̀ pé okay, this is Turkey right there. So distance náà sí Nigeria, so Nigeria lélẹ̀. So the way my hands are, ẹni tó bá ti lo compass rẹ̀ ní secondary school, understand kan tí mo sọ. So this is Turkey, Turkey. Okay, this is Turkey. You might not see the writing very well, but ibi tí mo gbé ọwọ́ lé ló ń pè ní Turkey. It's a beautiful place tí Ọlọ́run bá kà ní kádàrá pé kí wọn náà ráyè débẹ̀, subject to visa restriction or visa acceptance. Even as we speak today, tẹ́lẹ̀ up to 2-3 years ago, ẹni tó ní UK visa àti American visa, ó kàn lè ra visa Turkey lórí internet bẹ́ẹ̀ ní ra tọ̀ntọ̀n. Ó sì wà fúnra wa báyìí tá wà ní Europe, tí bá fi lọ sí Turkey àkọ́ra visa wà dẹ̀ máa lọ. Àwọn tó wá jẹ́ British citizen tó ní British passport, àwọn akọ̀ṣe kí ni, àwọn akọ̀ lọ́n tí wọn nídìí visa. gbogbo population wọn lẹ́ni according to the World Bank ló máa ń give statistics population gbogbo ìlú. So tó bá sọ pé ìlú kan wà láyé yìí, ìdí tí World Bank dẹ̀ ṣe ń ṣe bẹ́ẹ̀ ni pé kọ́ lè mọ irú gbèsè tẹ́ máa jẹ àtàwọn àti IMF, International Monetary Fund ló ń pè bẹ́ẹ̀. These are also demonic organization tó ti pa Africa nítorí pé àwọn tó ń darí Africa lénìí wọn ní balls láti kàn wọ́n lójú pé nígbà. Thomas Sankara fẹ́ kojú kàn wọ́n nígbà tó wà láyé, but we saw what happened. Wọ́n pàdé bíi pé eyín ẹ̀ àárí wọ́n dissolve it. So Turkey as at 2021, which is the latest data, because I love to play with data, is very, very important. And when I'm doing my broadcast, it's important that you have pen and paper so that you can work with something, so that tó bá ń sọ̀rọ̀ má máa sọ̀rọ̀ bí ẹni tí ò ti gbọ́. Ṣòro ẹ ti gbọ́ Koiki Media, ẹ̀yin ìyàwó ẹ̀yin bàbá wa, ẹ má bá wọn nonentic people tó ní understanding bí a parlour conversation ló pọ̀ jù láyé yìí. Torí bí tó bá ti jókòó wọ́n lè ní Turkey Islamic country ní Turkey kìíní. Ṣé wàá mọ̀ pé bọ́n ṣe máa ń pariwo pé Turkey Islamic country, kódà èmi débẹ̀ tí mo rí àwọn ọmọ wọn tó wọ pátá nìkan, pátá ọmọ pátá, àwọn ọmọ wọn ní Turkey bó ṣe jẹ́ Islamic country, mo rí àwọn ọmọ wọn tó yẹ pé wọ́n wọ aṣọ bra nìkan lọ́wọ́. wàá máa wonder pé but ìlú tó ń sọ pé Islamic country báwo ló ṣe tolerate irú nǹkan bẹ́ẹ̀, because àwọn kì í ṣe àwọn terrorist tó operate ní southwest ilẹ̀ Yorùbá lẹ́nìí, because àti lé àwọn mùsùlùmí débi pé they are becoming terrorists. Turkey is a country tó máa lọ tó yẹ pé wàá fẹ́ gbàgbé pé kódà tó bá sọ fún ẹ pé tí bá blindfold ojú ẹ ta gbé ẹ sínú plane ta kò jù ẹ sínú Turkey, wàá rò pé wà l'Amẹ́ríkà ni. That is the kind of standard tó wà nílùú yẹn, mo rí rẹ́rìí, and I'm gonna break it down to you today. So ìwọ ọmọ Yorùbá, òtítọ́ ni mo ń bá sọ̀rọ̀, mo bá wọn wèrè tí ó jẹ́ pé ẹ̀yin la máa fi jàǹkárí wọ̀, a sì máa yọ gbogbo yín lẹ́yẹ kọ̀ọ̀kan, because ẹ̀ ń ní ká dúró sínú Nàìjíríà nítorí pé ẹ mọ the importance of ká kúrò nínú Nàìjíríà kí ògo wa kó lè búyọ. Wàá gbọ́ Turkey lẹ́nìí or Turkey. Tí bá ní Turkey o lè máa rò pé ìlú kan tí ó túnṣe ọmọ ìbọn ṣe dá sáyé ni, but Turkey náà ló ń pè bẹ́ẹ̀. As at 2021, the whole population of Turkey is 84.78 million. Gbogbo population wọn. Kódà wọ́n ti wọ 90 million. Bó ṣe wá fẹ́ràn àlejò, báwa náà ṣe fẹ́ràn àlejò, kódà nígbà míì tó bá wà níbẹ̀ wàá fẹ́ lè máa béèrè pé àbí ìlú ẹ̀ gangan ló wà ní. Ìyàtọ̀ tó pọ̀ máa wá ṣẹlẹ̀ ni pé èdè kan ló máa sọ tó ní gbọ́. But àti wá láwọn ọmọ Nàìjíríà tó ń gbé níbẹ̀ wọ́n gbọ́ èdè yẹn, wọ́n gbọ́ débi pé wọ́n lè kọ́. But ṣó mọ̀ pé lẹ́nìí tí àwọn foreigner bá wá sí Nàìjíríà, ṣó mọ̀ pé English ló fi ń bá wa communicate. You know why? Because English ni wọ́n sọ fún wa pé òun ni major or important language wa. Ṣó mọ̀ pé normally tó bá yẹ pé a gba ìlú wa ká dá dúró gẹ́gẹ́ bí orílẹ̀-èdè, anybody tó bá ń bọ̀ nílùú wa ó gbọ́dọ̀ lọ kọ́ èdè. Wọ́n bí ẹ dákó wà ní Turkey kó náà ní kọ́ èdè. Bó ṣe fẹ́ gbé níbẹ̀ mi ò tí mọ̀. Ó gbọ́dọ̀ kọ́ èdè. That shows pé wọ́n ń ta language as a subject ní secondary school wọn àti university wọn. In tó bá ti mú ẹ pé bẹ́ẹ̀ ló fẹ́ gbé o, àbó fẹ́ lọ ṣe business níbẹ̀, wàá tẹ̀ ṣì gbọ́ díẹ̀díẹ̀. But tó bá yẹ pé o fẹ́ fi ibẹ̀ ṣe ibùdó, you must get to know the language. That shows pé the territorial space tá à ń pè ní southwest lẹ́nìí, táwa náà bá di pé our independent, English kọ́ ni a máa fi ṣe first language wa, àmọ́ English máa wà lára language wa. That means pé gbogbo ẹni tó bá ń bọ̀ lórílẹ̀‐èdè yẹn tó fẹ́ wá gbé níbẹ̀ ó kọ́kọ́ gbọ́dọ̀ lọ sí yunifásitì kan láti lọ kọ́ èdè. 84.78 million is the population of Turkey. Kò ṣe bẹ́ẹ̀ ni mo fẹ́ lọ, mo wá lọ wo kí ni population bí tó ń pè ní Nàìjíríà. Mo rí pé 213.4 million according to the World Bank. Mo wá ń try láti figure out pé ṣé ó ṣì wọ́tẹ̀ ká wà nínú 213 million àbí káwa kan ká yọra wa kúrò láàárín 213 million yẹn, ká wá wà in one block in one territory, ká wá bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí develop it, even if it's gonna take us another 60 years. Àwọn Yorùbá kan wá ní no àìtí ìfẹ́ bẹ́ẹ̀, ẹ jẹ́ ká ṣì wà nínú ìlú tí ó ti wà on the stand still, kò lọ síwájú kò lọ sẹ́yìn. Wọ́n wá ń tì à ń tì bá ṣe ń tì yẹn kò wá rìn ju bíi a little bit of miles lọ. Let me say this to some of you, whether you agree with the breakup of Nigeria or not, as long as you are still in that country, you will die, but àwa ṣì máa gba ilẹ̀ wa kúrò lọ́wọ́ Nigeria, because the debt tá à ń rí lójoojúmọ́ kò ń ṣe pé mo fẹ́ fi ṣe ọ̀rọ̀ ẹ̀fẹ̀, it is just the system tá à ń sọ lójoojúmọ́. Ẹ wo arákùnrin tí wọ́n gé ẹsẹ̀, ìyẹn actor yẹn, lóòótọ́ ìyẹn bá sick kò sí nǹkan tó lè ṣẹlẹ̀. Ṣé mọ̀ pé ó possible pé kó má rí ẹsẹ̀ yẹn gé tó bá yẹ pé ó rí proper medical treatment before kó tó di pé wọ́n pariwo síta, because àwọn ọmọ ẹ ti get stuck. Ìyẹn máa wò pé ẹni tó jẹ́ gbòógì èèyàn, mo ní láti dárúkọ ẹ̀ tó bá mọ̀ lọ find out lórí social media, ara actor kan tó ṣe gé ẹsẹ̀ just less than 72 hours ago. Ṣé mọ̀ pé àwọn èèyàn ẹ̀ ni wọ́n rí pé hey, bí nǹkan ṣe ń lọ tá a bá pariwo síta bàbá yìí máa kú. That shows pé bàbá yẹn náà wà lára 213 million tó ń sọ fún èmi àti ẹ pé Nàìjíríà máa dà. And that is still what many of you believe. Mo wá lọ sí data statistics tá a máa ń lò tó máa fún wa ní breakdown export and import ti Nigeria. Unfortunately, we can't be showing you this anymore because the system tó ń ṣiṣẹ́ dáadáa to be able to present it as it is. So I will just be reading and that's it. If we have the software and we have the system, I'll be able to show you. But ìyẹn tí kò sí yẹn money sing for now until I'm after another system tá lè máa lò. And I cry for Yoruba people. The reason why I'm crying is a lot of you do not know the consequence of what you are saying when you still want Nigeria. You don't know. Ìyàwó mi pè mí, mo ní ṣé ó ti ṣetán níbi iṣẹ́ ni, ó ní baálé mi mo ti ṣetán, ó sì dìrọ̀lẹ́, ó ti lọ láti almost 8 o'clock. 7:30 ò bá nínú ilé, ó dẹ̀ sì dìrọ̀lẹ́ kó tó dé. Mo ní bó ló ń lọ náà fẹ́ lọ ra oúnjẹ tóun máa jẹ. Ó ní kí lèmi náà ṣe, mo ní èmi náà ń jẹun lọ́wọ́. Ǹjẹ́ ìwọ láǹfààní bẹ́ẹ̀ pé kíyàwó ẹ̀ lọ ṣiṣẹ́ kó má tọwọ́ bọ̀ nídìí nítorí pé ibi tó ti ń ṣiṣẹ́ yẹn ọ̀gá kan lọ́ọ̀vù ìgbà ayẹ kò likely pé ó máa promote ẹ̀ ọ̀ǹtí tó bá tọwọ́ bọ̀ nídìí. Ǹjẹ́ oníyàwó bẹ́ẹ̀ nílé tí wọ́n respect the dignity ẹ̀, tí o lè máa sùn pé ìyàwó mi ti lọ síbi iṣẹ́, wọ́n máa fún ní ẹ̀tọ́ ẹ̀ gẹ́gẹ́ bí òṣìṣẹ́. Ǹjẹ́ àwọn ìyàwó yín tẹ̀ ń ṣiṣẹ́? Ǹjẹ́ wọ́n ti ń ṣe òwò? Torí òwò làwọn ìyá ti wá ṣe tó fi tọ́jú wa títí di wákàtí. Ó wá ń béèrè lọ́wọ́ èmi náà pé kí lèmi ṣe, èmi náà ń jẹun. Ó mọ̀dé tí mo ṣe ń jẹun nítorí pé mo ráyè fún ní owó díẹ̀ níwọ̀nba tí mo ní kékeré pé ìwọ náà bá ń fowó kún bọ́ sí ọbẹ̀ sílé káráyè jẹun. Ọmọ tí mo wá jẹ, mo jẹ bread àtomi ọbẹ̀, ẹran méjì ni mo jẹ. Mo ti abọ́ yẹn sì wà ń bẹ̀ yẹn ní kitchen, mo ti fọ̀. Ǹjẹ́ ìwọ náà láǹfààní bẹ́ẹ̀ nínú Nàìjíríà? Tó bá ti láǹfààní bẹ́ẹ̀, ìwọ má wọrí, máa gbádùn lọ. But àwa wà concern nítorí pé àwọn ọmọ Yorùbá kan wọ́n láǹfààní bẹ́ẹ̀. Ìyẹn mo ṣe ń béèrè pé ta ni ká mú, ta ni kó wà responsible fún problem tó ń bẹ ní South West? Who should we hold responsible? Àbí ká pọ̀ dákẹ́ ká máa wò bí ẹran orí ìrẹsì. Jollof rice wà nínú fridge. Kódà àníyàn pé mo máa dín ẹyin nígbà tí mo lọ ṣe small shopping kan ní local store mi, mo lọ ra orange juice, fruit juice, so that káwọn ọmọ Oòduà bá dé wọ́n gbọ́dọ̀ sọ pé dad, there's no apple juice in the house. Ìjà àwọn family tiẹ̀ náà tó bá ti fẹ́ dé láti school, wọn mọ̀ bí wọ́n lọ sí school bí wọ́n ṣe rán wọn pé kó lọ tajà. Ǹjẹ́ táwọn ọmọ ẹ tó bí, ǹjẹ́ tó bá wọlé dé, ǹjẹ́ wọ́n lè wọnú kitchen kó rí nǹkan tó wù wọ́n tó máa jẹ, àbí tí ẹ bá sọ pé wọ́n máa jẹ náà lọ gbọ́dọ̀ jẹ? Ìyàwó mi ti sọ táwọn ọmọ mi máa jẹ, ìyẹn ṣe fún social media. But ìlú kan wà ní Turkey tó ń pè ní Turkey. Bí inflation ṣe fẹ́ pa wọ́n tó léni, inflation bẹ̀ ó ti wà ní double digit. Ṣé o mọ̀ pé wọ́n sì ń rí oúnjẹ mẹ́ta jẹ lójúmọ́? Gbogbo population bí ṣe mo ṣe sọ fún ẹ lẹ́ẹ̀kan kò tí tó 90 million. Now mo ń béèrè pé ṣé ká sì wà nínú 213 million ká máa jọ tì í pẹ̀lú àwọn tí a mọ̀ ń ta, because nísìn kò tí ì síyàn kankan tó sọ fún mi pé àwọn èèyàn báyìí la lè blame for the responsibility of the problem in South West. Mo tí ì ríyàn kankan tó sọ pé ẹni báyìí ni ká blame. Èyí táwọn èèyàn kan sọ ni pé problem wà lóòótọ́, but who should we blame for the current problem in the southwest of Nigeria? I've given you categories of people. You can put it in the comment section. Let's go now and look at the data. Lóòótọ́ Turkey náà ní history tiwọn kó tó di pé wọ́n débi tó dé. That will be another day conversation. But tó bá mi tán pè ní arákùnrin kan, kò síbi tó bá lọ ní Turkey lénìí tí ò ní rí àwòrán ẹ̀. Kò síbi tó dé láyé yìí. Níjọ́ náà lọ́wọ́ náà pera wọn ní the Ottoman Empire. But ó wá ní arákùnrin kan tí ó jẹ́ èèyàn ńlá tí wọ́n kì í fi ṣeré ní Turkey. Kódà tí o bá lọ ṣe mistake, tó bá ṣe mistake, má lọ ṣe mistake pẹ̀lú àwọn ọmọ Turkey. Sórí tó bá jẹ́ pé Ìgbòho lẹ ṣì ń bú, ó sì dá mọ̀ pé láàrin ara wa nìyẹn. Tó bá wà pẹ̀lú àwọn Turkey, má lọ bú arákùnrin kan tó ń pè ní Mustafa Kemal Atatürk. Wá fi ọ̀bẹ wá fi yọ igbá àyè síta lẹ́sẹ̀kẹsẹ̀. And I'm not joking, I'm not making this up now. Tó bá mọ̀yàn ní Turkey, béèrè lọ́wọ́ àwọn tó wà ní Turkey pé ǹjẹ́ o lè sọ̀rọ̀ sí Mustafa Kemal Atatürk? Wọ́n bí bàbá ẹ̀ dànù sọ. You know why? Because àwọn tó jà ìjà òmìnira táwọn náà ń gbádùn lẹ́ni nìyẹn. Ṣé wá rí gbogbo táwa ń ṣe lẹ́ni tó ń dàbí ẹ̀fẹ̀ fẹ́yìn? Ó sì dìgbà tí èmi àti ẹ ta bá ti kú after years, ta ti pẹ́ sáyé, ta ti dàgbà téyín wa tó ń spoon feed wa, tó a máa dàgbà sílẹ̀ Yorùbá. Ṣé wá rẹ̀yìn tí ẹ disagree, you will be asking yourself that kí ló dé tí mo darapọ̀ mọ́ wọn nígbà tí wọ́n ń jàjà yẹn? Because people will remember every steps ta gbé lórí pé ká bọ́ nínú oko ẹrú. Mustafa Kemal Atatürk was one person that fought for the freedom of the Turkish people. And that is why he is one of their biggest heroes today. Kò síbi tó bá lọ ní Turkey, wọ́n máa ń fi àwòrán ẹ̀, wọ́n fi ń ṣe ìjọ. Mùsùlùmí ni wọ́n, àmọ́ wọ́n sọ pé arákùnrin yìí ó ju ànábì lọ, àmọ́ lọ́dọ̀ wọn ó fẹ́ tó ju ẹ̀sìn tó gbé dání gan lọ. Let's go back into the data. Mo kí gbogbo alẹ́ nǹkan sí. I went to look at the data. Kí ni total export tí Turkey ń gbé jáde as a country that is less than 90 million, as a country that is not even up to 85 million. It is not how big the population is anymore. Níbi táyé délé ni. It is about how we can make sure that the little tó wà láyé in any part of the world, no matter how small, a leverage máwọn tí wọ́n jẹ́yàn ńláńlá so that kẹ́yìn náà lè di èèyàn. But àwọn ọmọ Yorùbá ní no, àfẹ́ yẹn. What we want is to live in Nigeria and die and try to save Nigeria. And I said, no problem. Ìyẹn náà dá. Ọmọ pàwọn kan náà ti ṣe bẹ́ẹ̀ rí. Wọ́n dẹ̀ padà kú, and today nobody even remembers them. A wà ní aago mẹ́ta ó fẹ́ lọ lù lọ́dọ̀ tiwa ní London, England, United Kingdom. In 2021, which is just 2 years ago, Turkey exported, I'm sure gbogbo aláṣà ti mọ̀ tán pè ní export. A ní láti ṣe máa break yẹn down. Tó bá mọ̀, o lè béèrè lọ́wọ́ àwọn tó wà ní comment section. Ní 2 years ago, Turkey tí kò tó 85 million were able to export a total of 234 billion US dollars. Ìlú tó tó 85 million. Ṣé mọ̀ pé ìwà máa sọ nísìnyí pé ìyẹn gbọ́dọ̀ kéré, ó yẹ káwa Nàìjíríà ká jẹ́ 200 million, ó yẹ káwa lè ṣe jù bẹ́ẹ̀ lọ. Ṣé mọ̀ pé bó ṣe jẹ́ kó rí gangan náà nìyẹn, because the bigger the merrier, the bigger the merrier. Láwọn Amẹ́ríkà nǹkan tí wọ́n gẹ̀ǹgẹ̀ ni. Mo dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ Yorùbá apparel. Mo ṣe ń retí míì tẹ́nu máa dé torí eléyìí ti fẹ́ di torí òtútù dẹ̀ ni mo ṣe ń like láti máa wọ̀. Ẹ jọ̀ọ́ ẹ jẹ́ kí mi tètè máa bọ̀ lọ́dọ̀ wa ní àti Amẹ́ríkà. Tí wọn náà bá fi wá irú eléyìí ó máa rà á ni. Wàá lọ sórí www.omoluabiapparel.com. In 2021, Turkey exported a total of $234 billion, making it the number 28 exporter in the world. A country that is less than 85 million. Oh yeah, can Nigeria dust one now? Let's look at Nigeria. In 2021, Nigeria, a population of 230 million, tí orí àwọn èèyàn ṣiṣẹ́ bí aago, táwọn èèyàn ready láti ṣe wàhálà, kó ṣiṣẹ́, kí export wa lè grow, káwa náà lè rí ayé gbé. I think that should be the normal norm. Take note of this figure. In 2021, ní the same year, Turkey now make it 240 kila ní Turkey make lẹ́ẹ̀kan yẹn. Let's take a note of that. So in 2021, Turkey made $234 billion in export, a population of 84.3 million. Nigeria, the same year, Nigeria, 2021, a population of 213 million. Ma bust the brain tó yẹn o kàn stress ara ẹni because àwọn tó sọ pé data yẹn bẹ́ẹ̀ ló ṣe rí in tó fi ń jalè tó fi ń gba loan lọ́wọ́ World Bank lọ́wọ́ IMF. So tí wọ́n bá ń sọ pé Mr. Koiki tó 200 million, you are wasting your time. We stick to what they are telling us. A country with 230 million, with 60% of youth, you would expect that ó yẹ kí market yẹn kó máa, ó yẹ kí ó máa burst débi pé kò jẹ́ ká máa rí space, débi pé Fúlàní máa wọlé fi pa wá. And it can be anything from agriculture produce to technology to anything you can think of. In 2021, Nigeria exported a total of 57.7 billion. You might want to do the maths. 57.7 billion. It's a big money if you look at it, within the African context. It's a lot of money. But why is a country that is 84.3 million or making 234 billion ní 2021? Mo kí àtó bí mi lọ́mọ ẹ káàbọ̀ sórí ètò mọ́. And Nigeria tó jẹ́ 213 million, gbogbo export wa ẹ bá mi divide 234 yẹn, mélòó la máa rí tá bá ju 57 sínú ẹ̀? At least tí mo bá tẹ̀ mọ́ mass, tó bá yẹ pé orí mi tẹ̀ dọ́ta díẹ̀ pé mo hate mass, ìyẹn mo ṣe sá lọ sí art class. Mo lè kọ́kọ́ mú 200 kí wá wo 57 kí kọ́kọ́ gbá 7 yẹn sẹ́gbẹ̀ẹ́. That means pé 200 yẹn màá rí 50 mẹ́rin nínú ẹ̀. Tá bá wá wo 34, tá bá divide 34 by 7, that means pé ọ̀nà mẹ́rin, tá bá wá gé sọ́nà mẹ́rin, a wá yọ apá kan kúrò nínú ẹ̀. Ṣé o mọ̀ pé Nàìjíríà ò tí ì rí apá mẹ́ta tó kù láti compete pẹ̀lú ìlú tí kò ju 84 million lọ? Mo wá ń bèèrè lọ́wọ́ ẹ pé ṣé ó sì wọ́tẹ̀ ká sì wà nínú Nàìjíríà? Who should we blame? Òun ni ìbéèrè tí mò ń bi gbogbo wa lọ́sàn-án. Ta ni ká blame? Because in tó mọ àwọn eléyìí develop débi pé wọ́n lè hit target yìí, ó jẹ́ kí Nàìjíríà náà ti hit target yìí ti pẹ́. But the honesty was never there, because wọ́n rí Nàìjíríà as a progressive country. Àwa tá jẹ́ citizen là ń push pé ìlú wa ni. Àwọn tí wọ́n mọ̀ pé ìlú wọn kọ́ ni Nàìjíríà, tí wọ́n ní pé kòkó ọbẹ̀ wọn ni. Ó yẹ ká wá béèrè pé kí ni Turkey ń tà síta tí export wọn ṣe high bẹ́ẹ̀ yẹn? Mo wá ń wo data yẹn níwájú mi nísìn, mo wá rí pé gbogbo ẹ̀ kélébé. If you look at the graphs, it has a lot of boxes. Mo wá lọ wo ti Nàìjíríà, mo wá rí pé it is just one single item òun ló gbé Nàìjíríà dúró, which is the crude oil. Nínú 57.7 billion yẹn, Nàìjíríà pa 41 billion nínú ẹ̀. That means pé tá bá yọ 41.8 billion, tá bá yọ 41 kúrò nínú 57, that means pé a ṣe ní bí 16 billion. That means pé gbogbo tí wọ́n pè ní Nàìjíríà pátá láti òkè ọya dé ìsàlẹ̀ nílùú tí ó ní 230 million, àtọmọdé àtàgbàlagbà àtàrúgbó, àárí nǹkan kan ṣe ju pé a sẹ́ndì ọjà 16 billion síta. Because that is exactly what we've done across the 36 states. We were unable pé kí wọ́n tẹ̀ fún state kankan ní target pé ní Ogun State ní ọdún yìí o ẹ fún wa ní $16 billion worth of export. Is it possible? Ǹjẹ́ wọ́n lè fún state kankan ní target yẹn pé whatever tẹ́ ẹ̀ bá fẹ́ ṣe as long as tó bá ti jẹ́ drugs tó dẹ̀ wà illegal, I need the $16 billion worth of export. Gọ́vùnà wa gbórí ẹ̀ kalẹ̀ pẹ̀lú àwọn committee àtàwọn tó máa jọ plan ẹ̀ pé kí la fi lè generate, kí la lè ṣe ní state tiwa tó lè make a target $16 billion ká add ẹ̀ mọ́ ti Nàìjíríà. Ẹ wá jẹ́ ká lọ multiply 16 times. Let me get my calculator here. Excuse me. 16 times 36 states. Ṣé mo pé yẹn máa fún wa ní right there $576 billion. You can see that the progress is not going to happen in our lifetime if we refuse to stop it now. I hope you are getting the message. Mo pò ń yé yín bí ṣe ń try láti connect the dot yẹn. Then to reverse. Mo ní a ní 36 states. We have 36 states. Kọ́ wá ṣe mandatory pé every year kí state kankan kó fún wa ní ìta lè tà síta ni mo ń sọ o. Kò ń ṣe ìta máa consume o. Èyí tí a lè tà tó máa worth $16 billion. Do you think a state in Nigeria or the 36 states can produce something? And if they can produce something, like what the Europe will only produce? Kate keep food tọ̀dọ̀ tiwa pé ní southwest. Ǹjẹ́ southwest lè generate $16 billion ní ọdọọdún as an export goods jáde? Tí n bá tẹ̀ mọ̀ kankan, ẹ já lọ sí Ìtòkù ní Abẹ́òkúta. Àwọn tó ń ṣe àdìrẹ. Kò ń ṣe pé wọ́n sọ fún mi. Mo sọ fún yín pé mo ti wà on the ground tipẹ́ tí bá lọ́lé. Àwọn boys kan wo program mi I think around 2019 ká tó bẹ̀rẹ̀ Yorùbá Nation before, just as the election was coming out. When the election was around March. Wọ́n wá bẹ̀ mí pé Mr. Koiki abẹ̀yìn ni. A nídìí kẹ́ wá bá wa polówó aṣọ àdìrẹ tá ń tà. Màá níyàn ṣe problem tí bá ti dé Nàìjíríà màá kàn sí yín. Ẹ máa rán mọ́tò kó máa wá gbé mi ní o. Àwọn níyàn ṣe problem. Kódà mọ́tò tó rán wá gan kò ní air condition. But because I'm just like bá débẹ̀. Arákùnrin tí mo bá níbẹ̀ ìyá ẹ̀ ló ń ṣiṣẹ́ yẹn lóòótọ́ but òun ti wá take it up. Tí mo bá exaggerate púpọ̀, I think he has more than 20 staff tó ń bá ṣiṣẹ́. Ó lè máa wò mí lórí program báyìí nísìnyí. Ó ti tójọ́ mẹ́ta tí mo ti communicate pẹ̀lú wọn. Aṣọ àdìrẹ ni mo ń sọ o. Ṣé wọ́n mọ̀ pé aṣọ àdìrẹ yẹn ṣorí ìwọ tó wà labroad àtẹ̀mí àtẹ̀yìn ṣé mọ̀ pé responsibility tà wá ni pé tó bá jẹ́ pé a dá dúró gẹ́gẹ́ bí country ṣé mọ̀ pé government wa ní state wa ó lè sọ pé gbogbo òde tẹ́ bá ń lọ ní London àdìrẹ ni kẹ́ máa wọ̀ kẹ́ bá wa fi polongo but àwa subsidize ẹ̀ lè bá wa tà fáwọn òyìnbó. Mo kàn fún yín ní a back of how that revenue will come. All we need to now do is nígbà tèmi débẹ̀ èmi ò mọ̀ paṣọ àdìrẹ but ẹ mọ̀ pé mo wá lè lọ gbé expert mi wá pé ẹ bá mi nurture àwọn ọmọ yìí. Ó dà pé ìgbà tí mo wà ní tí mo ń ṣe I think my foundation ọ̀bí àgbà tí mo ń ṣe first semester mi woman kan wọn náà ló máa ń give colour tí wọ́n máa lò for the year. American ìyá yẹn wà. Ṣé mọ̀ pé we can market àdìrẹ alone and get that 16 billion across the world if we are able to get it right with the marketing, with the production, with the export. we can deliver southwest láti Ogun state nìkan àwa lè fún yín ní 16 billion. Ìwọ náà lè máa wò pé ní state tèmi ọ̀hún pé Ogun state lèmi sọ yìí, ìwọ náà máa rò pé kí ni state tèmi lè generate láti make 16 billion. I am asking again, who should we blame for the problem in southwest? Where are we going to blame? Let's move further. Ẹ jẹ́ ká padà sórí data yẹn again. Mo wá ń wo gbogbo tí Turkey ń ṣe, and I'll try as much as possible to give you some of what they do so that ẹ lè ní understanding pé bóyá nǹkan táwọn ń ṣe yẹn probability náà wà pé tí Yorùbá bá jẹ́ independent, self-autonomous, self-independent, tí kò ń ṣe pé a wà lábẹ́ federal government of Nigeria, bí àwa náà lè ṣe the same thing. Ẹ jẹ́ ká jọ wò. Raw iron or raw iron bars gave Turkey $4.8 billion in 2021. That's about 2.6%. That is huge. Ǹjẹ́ àwa náà ní? I don't know. You can put it in the comment section. Quota flat roll iron gave them 2.76 billion. That's about 1.8%. Hot roll iron gave them 2.43 billion. That's about 1.4%. Iron structure gave them 1.86 billion. So that means pé between ọ̀rọ̀ iron, kò ń ṣe iron tó fi ń lọ ṣọ́, mo ṣáà ń gbọ́ iron. That shows that within the 3-4 iron tó sọ yìí, they've generated billions of dollars. The question is, ǹjẹ́ àwa náà ní ìtàn sọ yìí? I don't know. Let's go to the next one. Non-kit women's suit. Hey, Turkey ló máa lọ. Tó bá sọ fún wọn pé o fẹ́ 1 container of aṣọ tó dẹ̀ fún wọn ní specification, wàá kọ́ sọ timeline tó máa fi ready fún ẹ. Wọ́n lè ní kó lọ mu coffee níbẹ̀ yẹn, tó bá máa fi di bí ọ̀sẹ̀ méjì mẹ́ta, wàláì ọjà yẹn máa déwájú ẹ̀. You know why? Because wọ́n produce 24/7. Màá ní kí èèyàn kan bá mi ṣe fídíò kan láìpẹ́ yìí. Ẹ̀sùn kan yẹn mọ Yorùbá. Kọ̀ńténà tí wọ́n load láti agbègbè yẹn, ṣé wàá mọ̀ pé kò sí omi ní agbègbè yẹn? Train ló ń gbé kọ̀ńténà yẹn wá tó fi ń load ẹ̀, because wọ́n ní agbègbè yẹn bí wọ́n ti ṣe sọ fún mi, wọ́n ní production tó ń ṣe níbẹ̀, ìgẹ́ta sí bí. Kí ni ẹ̀ ń produce ní local government ẹ nílẹ̀ Yorùbá? What are we producing? What are we producing? Ẹ dá mi lóhùn. What are we producing? A kàn ń sùn, à ń jí, à ń kírun, à lọ mọ́ṣáláṣí, à ń sùn, à ń jí, à ń yan ọba lọ́run lógo, which is very good. But we refuse to produce nothing. But we are looking for a good country. Unbelievable. Non-kit, ìyẹn aṣọ àwọn obìnrin tó pè ní women's suit. Ó dùn mí pé ààrí software lò, ó yẹ kí èèyàn máa show yín ní àwọn pictures yẹn. Ó ṣàmú suit, ní tí mo fẹ́ wọ̀ láàárọ̀ yìí ló ń pè ní suit, SUITS, tó wá jẹ́ tàwọn obìnrin. Ṣọmọ yẹn tó ń fún wọn ní revenue ní 2021 ní export, wọ́n tà síta ni mo mìíràn 3.5 billion. Kò ní dá fún gbogbo ẹni tó ní ká má lọ. You are all wicked people. Ẹ ń hold wa padà because of peanut tẹ̀rín lẹ́ni. Ìlú tó 84 million people ni mo sọ̀rọ̀ ẹ̀. You can see why, you know, their information táwa kan kó sórí ó ti fẹ́ jẹ́ kórìí kó explode. because àmọ́ bá ṣe fi ṣàlàyé fáwọn èèyàn mọ́. Aṣọ obìnrin tó ń rán nínú Turkey tó export ṣọmọ báwọn ti ní enough tí wọ́n ń wọ̀ nínú wọ́n ní àwọn aṣọ tiwọn táwọn náà ń wọ̀ but èyí tí wọ́n ní wọ́n export jáde ó fún wọn ní $3.5 billion ní 2021. That's about 1.53%. Àwọn wọn ló ń rà àwa Nigerians àwọn oníràkúrà. Mo ti ṣe business lọ sí Turkey àwa lọ kó suit wa àwa tà fẹ́yìn ní Nàìjíríà àwa náà ṣe business and you expect that country to grow. Ẹ jẹ́ ká tó tẹ̀síwájú. Wọ́n tún ní knit sweater. Àwọn olè rò pé máa sweater mo kúkú ti rí ẹ̀yin náà tẹ́tí wọ sweater nínú ooru. Madness ni. Èyí tó bá ti mú yín máa wọ sweater nínú Nàìjíríà ẹ ti ń run mad mọ̀ ni. Àwa la nídìí láti máa wọ sweater torí òtútù ni. So that means pé Turkey rí niche market òyìnbá ní niche market. Wọ́n rí pé àwọn kan lè ṣe nítorí ẹ lazy láwọn ibi tí òtútù wà. Èmi àti a lọ sí store mo wà nínú Primark lánàá lára tí Primark máa tà ó máa wá láti Turkey. Ìlú tó pé ti 4 million ni mo sọ̀rọ̀ ẹ̀. Bàbá wa kan ní my bouquet is strictly Turkish wear. That means pé àti lose niche market lọ́wọ́ ọmọ Yorùbá. Ṣé ẹ kọ́ ọmọ Yorùbá wọ ní Turkish wear nígbà táwọn ò ní wear tiwa? Ṣé mọ̀ pé tó bá yẹ pé àwa náà ní títọ́dọ̀ tiwa ta promote kò dé ṣe pé à ní àwọn tó ní ọpọlọ láti design ẹ̀ kọ́ ṣe ní mass production ká tà síta. Knit sweater òun náà fún wọn lówó tó pọ̀ $2.78 billion. Wọ́n tún sọ pé knit t-shirt ọ̀tọ̀ ní sweater ó tún lè jẹ́ tó jẹ́ bíi t-shirt ìyẹn náà máa fún wọn lówó tó kéré ó fún wọn ní $2.73 billion. And woven rugs ọmọ rug tá à ń tẹ́ sílẹ̀ lẹ̀ ní center one. Ìyẹn fún wọn ní $2.71 billion in export ni mo sọ̀rọ̀ yìí. Who should we blame for the problem tá à ń face lọ́wọ́lọ́wọ́ nísìn? Somebody must be blamed. Somebody must be held responsible. Mo kí gbogbo èèyàn olólùfẹ́ wa tẹ́ ń wọlé ẹ má bínú torí pé àsìkò la ṣe dárúkọ. Insulated wire ó fún wọn ní a total of $3.24 billion as of 2021. Refrigerators $2.5 billion. Engine parts ó fún wọn ní $1.99 billion. Electric heater ẹ̀yin ò ní nídẹ̀ ní Nàìjíríà àfi tó bá jẹ́ pé o ti ní problem because èmi ò mọ̀ tó fẹ́ fi electric heater ṣe nínú Nàìjíríà. Air condition lẹ need but ibi tó ń tà sí owó ti $1.66 billion. So I have given us different categories of what Turkey exported that gave them $234 billion. The question then is, are we being honest with ourselves that Nigeria will get to this stage? Or should we say, we've had enough of trying to fix Nigeria, it is time it get wind down. I am not talking about Turkey, we want assemble it, because some of you are now so excited that LG or all these stores or this brand, they are bringing parts and Nigerians are coupling it and everybody's excited. I saw a video like that. That is not what I'm talking about. Everything I have mentioned so far needs millions of people to make it happen. In that within the last 20 minutes, Imagine how many people must be working in every sector to get that figure, from the logistics to the planning to the staff that are going to be working day and night. Ọ̀tọ̀ ni tó máa ṣe night, ọ̀tọ̀ ni tó máa ṣe day, ọ̀tọ̀ ni tó máa ṣe morning. And the question then is, if Turkey that is less than 85 million can get to this stage, have you thought about kódà what tajà dé Israel? Let me see what Israel is buying from them. 1 minute. According to the data, Israel, they exported goods worth 6.31. Okay, maybe I should move away from there and give you the statistics of the countries. Countries that Turkey export a lot to. Let's start with Germany. Germany seems to be their highest business destination. They don't care whether they are not Muslim or not. They just want to trade. The Yoruba can trade out of Nigeria, but we cannot do much if we remain in Nigeria. We can have a good trade relationship between us and Nigeria, between us and other countries around the world. Germany, Turkey send the ọjà tó wọ́ọ̀tì 19.8 billion. Mo ti ẹ mọ̀ pé mo sọ̀rọ̀ ògùnlẹ̀ state lẹ́ǹkan, mo sọ̀rọ̀ agriculture produce o. Nǹkan ẹyọ kan péré ni mo kàn yọ nínú gbogbo Ògùn state tí mo ní aṣọ tí wọ́n ń tà ní Ìtòkú market, àwọn àdìrẹ yẹn. Ẹ wá imagine if we start adding other stuff into it, likely go máa ju 16 billion lọ́wọ́. So ní 2021, Germany gba ọjà lọ́wọ́ àwọn Turkey kò ń ṣe ọ̀fẹ́. Germany san 19.8 billion fún Turkey ní 2021. UK tí mo wà yìí ṣekúṣẹyẹ bó ṣe dá tó lọ́ni lọ́wọ́. Àwọn ní number 2 tó ń ṣe òwò pẹ̀lú Turkey. Tó bá lọ lórí flight fún àwọn tí a ti travel lọ sí Turkey, wàá máa rí àwọn ọmọ òyìnbó yẹn, àwọn lọ́kùn lórí airline, lórí aircraft. Wọ́n máa fẹ́ràn Turkey o. Ọmọdé nítorí pé Turkey fún wọn ní ààyè débi pé wọ́n lè wọ pátá àti bra nìkan as long as pé ẹ ṣàfihàn náwó ni. Àwa ò tẹ̀ wá ní kọ́ wọ pátá àti bra nìkan lọ́dọ̀ tiwa, àní kọ́ tẹ̀ wá wo Òkè Ògùn, kọ́ wá wo Olúmọ, kọ́ wá wo Abẹ́òkúta, kọ́ wá wo Kwara, kọ́ wá wo Kogi, kọ́ wá wo Ọ̀ṣun, kọ́ wá lọ wo this, kọ́ lá wo that. They will never come. Olórí burúkú Minister for Information yín ó wá ń ránṣẹ́ padà sí Amẹ́ríkà. Ẹ mọ̀ pé mo ṣe program kan lálẹ́ àná tí mo múra bí àwọn tó ń lọ sí ogun ecomod, ẹ kúkú sanwó fún mi, àná ẹ fún wa lówó káráyè ṣiṣẹ́. Ó wá ń rán iṣẹ́ padà sí Amẹ́ríkà. Ó ní travel advisory Amẹ́ríkà àti UK ń fi síta ìlú wèrè tẹ́ ń pè Nàìjíríà pé ó máa discourage foreign investment to Nigeria. Èmi wá ń bèrè pé investment wo ló ṣì wà nínú Nigeria? Àwọn kan ṣì ń jẹ owó nínú ẹ̀ tí Ọlọ́run bá yín ṣe. Àwọn kan kéékèèké tẹ ní ó ń generate owó fún yín, but bó ṣe ń generate owó lówó yẹn ń bàjẹ́. Many people has businesses o. Àwọn èèyàn wà nílé tó ní business gidi o. Kò ṣe gbogbo ẹ̀ ló ń ṣe politics o. Mo láwọn kan máa ń fún mi lówó láti lé pé Mr. Koiki àwọn ọmọ bá ṣe máa send ẹ̀ sí London sí ẹ, ṣé kí n send ẹ̀ sí naira account ẹ̀? Màá níbẹ̀ ní sà. Genuine business. But problem tán ní ni pé irú ìtò ṣẹlẹ̀ ní kọ́lọ̀fọ́run kẹ́ àwọn tí wọ́n kú ní Canadian Embassy lánàá l'Abuja bí ẹ̀ tí gbọ́. Wọ́n service generator Nigeria á disgrace ẹ̀ débi pé wọ́n máa bèrè pé ṣé ìlú lélẹ̀ ṣá? Ṣé Nigerian service generator ní London? Bomb bastard country. Ní Canadian Embassy lánàá l'Abuja there was an explosion níbi tó ti ń service generator wọn. Èèyàn méjì ó ti lọ bá baba God after 63 years àárí iná fún àwọn foreigner tó fi wá ṣe Canada máa wá sọ fẹ́yìn ọmọ Canadian pé investment ní Nàìjíríà àwọn wà níbẹ̀ for their own selfish interest in táwọn máa kó làwọn fẹ́ but wọ́n ní ever sọ fáwọn ọmọ wọn pé lọ invest ṣé ọmọ Canadian ní sìn yàtọ̀ sẹ́yìn tiwantiwa o tiwantiwa I'm talking about a proper Canadian ṣé a lọ invest sí Ìlọrin a lọ kọ́ hotel sí Ìlọrin mo ń bí ẹ jẹ́ ká wà honest pẹ̀lú ra wa náà ṣé ọmọ Canada máa lọ invest sí Ìlọrin mo ń béèrè lọ́wọ́ yín olórí burúkú information minister wa ní America shut up stop putting this travel advisory láti discourage foreign investment wo ló ń bọ̀ I pity a lot of you ẹnu ẹni gbogbo àjọ wa àwa kò ní sọ àwà torí pé àwa gangan là ń sọ fún yín pé àwa la di òtítọ́ mú mo sì ń béèrè pé ta ló wà responsible for all the problems that we are facing today ààrẹ ni dá wa lóhùn. And this is why we are saying that the longer tá a bá ń pẹ́ sórí ìgbẹ́ yẹn èṣìṣẹ́ oríṣiríṣi a máa balẹ̀. Let's go back again lọ sí Turkey. So UK náà ń ṣe òwò tó pọ̀ pẹ̀lú wọn regardless of whether they are Muslim countries. UK is doing what we call up to $14.2 billion worth of business between Turkey and UK ní 2021. Italy àwọn náà ń ṣe 11.6 billion ẹ̀yẹ́ ń lọ wo location 9 Nigeria mo ti rí o America náà ń ṣe owó tó pọ̀ 14.8 billion ẹ̀wọ̀n Nigeria jáde because àwọn náà máa ń rajà lọ́wọ́ wọn à ń ra helicopter Apache helicopter láti máa fi mouse sórí ẹ̀ ní cosmo rí okay ó dá pé ibi àwọn ọmọ trade kékèké láwa máa ṣe náà níwèé ṣé àwa tá a tẹ̀ lówó púpọ̀ ti jẹ gbèsè mo wá Nàìjíríà ni o báwọn ṣe máa tètè rí báyìí Australia New Zealand bàdé dàtà bá rí ti Nàìjíríà mú bọ̀ Nàìjíríà máa wà ń bẹ́ẹ̀ ètò làbáyé Saudi Arabia náà ṣe díẹ̀díẹ̀ 274 million na pearl Tajikistan kò sílùú tán bá ṣòwò ó dìgbà tó bá débẹ̀ ló máa rí pé wìtìwìtì tó ń lọ níbẹ̀ ìgẹ́ta sí bí mo rí Nàìjíríà kódà ẹ̀rántí Timor-Leste tí mo náà ṣẹ̀gbà independent àwọn náà ń bá Turkish ṣe business níwọ̀n bá tó lè ṣe ìtọ́ bá need wàrà wá gbé lọ sọ́dọ̀ wọn 12.8 million ẹ̀rántí East Timor tí mo ní wọ́n gba independent láìpẹ́ yìí Gibraltar ẹ̀rántí Gibraltar tí mo ní gbogbo population wọn is 30 million no 32,000 àwọn náà bá Turkey ṣe business up to 94 million ìlú tó o bá lè gbérí púpọ̀ ẹ máa ṣe business pẹ̀lú àwọn ìlú tó wà òkè ẹ tó bá yẹ ká sọ pé ká wà ní Nàìjíríà o gbogbo àlà máa jẹ breakfast ìgbà tó olúkálukú máa jẹ Latvia àwọn náà bá wọn ṣe business at up to 164 million bágbára bá ṣe mọ́ lògùn mọ́ Nàìjíríà máa wà níbẹ̀ it's just that I can't find it mo rí Nàìjíríà Nàìjíríà bá wọn ṣe business pé Trinidad and Tobago 150 million Elvador 63 British Virgin Island àwọn ìlú kélébé àwọn náà bá wọn ṣòwò Costa Rica náà bá wọn ṣòwò Honduras kò sílùú náà Turkey sí tó kàn wọ́n gbogbo ìlú ló ń bá ṣe business títí kan Afghanistan I'm sure kan Afghanistan ṣe business anyway I can't find Nigeria one day and it's training me already so I'm gonna leave that mo rí ní táwa rí Nigeria ìlú òṣì bàtẹ́ pé business kékèké business olè lọ́kùnkùn máa bá wọn ṣe tí tọ́ọ̀nì fẹ́ kọ́ ọmọ Nàìjíríà mọ̀. Iceland kan bá wọn ṣe business up to 55 million, Luxembourg 92 million. lórí táwa rí Nàìjíríà ń bẹ ọ̀gá Nàìjíríà gbogbo òlù láàrin àrí Nàìjíríà látẹ̀ǹkan. It's unbelievable. All right, I'm going to leave it. Can't find it. Switzerland 1.6 billion. Gbogbo Nigeria wà lọ́wọ́ àwọn yẹn. All right, we're going to move straight forward and leave that. So I'm going to come back out of this because mo fẹ́ gbé program yẹn wálẹ̀ láìpẹ́. Ẹ má bínú pé kò ní jẹ́ long one. All right, we're going to leave that. I can't find it. Egypt in bá wọn ṣe business. Egypt in bá wọn ṣe business tó pọ̀ 4.65 billion. Kí ló dé? Okay, Nigeria dé lè wà. Mo ti rí ìlú wèrè mo ti rí map ẹ̀. Nigeria ó ń bá Turkey ṣe business tó wọ́ ti 877 million, 0.38%. There's nothing wrong in trade, but in tí mo sọ ni pé export in Nigeria tá bá yọ ti Turkey a sì máa rí mẹ́ta, because Turkey is 234 billion, Nigeria is 57.7 billion. Ẹ̀yin náà divided kí ló máa fún yín? Ó sì pín sọ́nà mẹ́rin, tẹ́ bá dẹ̀ yọ ọ̀kan kúrò tó jẹ́ 57, ọ̀nà mẹ́ta sì ń bẹ fún ìlú tí kò pé 85 million. So the question we should be asking ourselves is, what has gone wrong? And ṣé n tó go wrong yẹn, can we rectify it? Let's see if I can. Màá ní láti jáde, mo fẹ́ lọ wo. Ẹ má bínú ẹ̀yin tẹ́ wà lórí rẹ̀, mo fẹ́ sáré líǹkì ti, even I would have loved to do that as a separate program. Ẹ̀yin tẹ́ wà lórí TikTok, mo máa come out for a few minutes. Ẹ má bínú, hopefully kò ní cut kí n tó padà dé. Mo fẹ́ sáré lọ wo mọ̀nkátìkù kan láàárọ̀ ẹ̀. Okay, ó dà pé mo ti rí Guardian, ó dà pé mo ti ṣí sílẹ̀ tẹ́lẹ̀ níbí báyìí. Ìyẹ̀wò náà lélẹ̀. Yeah. Now. Yeah, ẹ má bínú, we're back on. Yeah, we're back. Ẹ jẹ́ kí n sáré ka this is the Guardian newspaper ní on the 5th of November. Ẹ má bínú pé ẹ̀yin tẹ́ wà lórí Facebook wọ́n jẹ́ kí n post nǹkan kan sórí ẹ̀ wọ́n ti restrict comment mi. Màá try mọ́ ó dà pé ó lọ láàárọ̀ yìí kò lọ. Ó ti wà ẹ̀kẹ́ jẹ́ lọ try látòrí Koiki Odùduwà. Mo kí gbogbo èèyàn wa tẹ́ wà lórí ètò pẹ̀lú mi. Ẹ jẹ́ mo bẹ́ máa post bí báyìí. Okay, ó lọ níbí náà kò lọ, ó ti gbádànù. Alright, I'm gonna post it on the backup channel and the YouTube ti Koiki Media. So màá dẹ́ lọ post ẹ̀ sórí community mi. Ṣé n tẹ́ bá wà lórí YouTube community mi, in tí mo fẹ́ kà ní sọ ti wà níbẹ̀. Tẹ́ bá dẹ́ lọ sórí Twitter náà ó ti wà níbẹ̀. Màá dẹ́ post ẹ̀ sórí Koiki Media Odùduwà. Ẹ máa follow wa back to back so that kẹ́yìn náà lè máa mọ bí nǹkan ṣe ń lọ. Ẹ jẹ́ ká sáré ka kíní. Èmi mọ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ ṣe fẹ́ react. I'm gonna read everything without doing the analysis on it, but màá try láti ṣe analysis within the confinement of the time tá a ṣe ní. The headline says, Kaduna, Dangote, BUA, refineries may source crude oil from abroad. Mo mọ̀ pé mo ní mo ní ṣe analysis, but mo kọ̀ọ̀kan fún ìtàn sọ ni pé Kaduna refinery tó ti wà yẹn tó wà in existence, àwọn Dangote, èmi ò mọ̀ bóyá Dangote ni wọ́n ta fún ni, I don't know, but ìtàn sọ ni pé Dangote àti BUA wọ́n máa lọ source fún crude oil láti ta láti fi run ní Kaduna refinery. Ẹ hàn kó yẹ kó jẹ́ bí kò ń ṣe Dangote nìkan anyway, because I'll read it through. We should be asking the question as kí ló dé ta lọ source fún crude oil? Ṣé àtúní ṣé wọ́n tútù ṣé àtútù gbẹ ṣé gbogbo crude oil ti gbẹ ni? I don't know, but let's read through to it quickly. It is better to tackle challenges against local production. Doubt over Port Harcourt facility coming on the stream next month. Expert fault government holding control shares in the oil firms. The Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, NNPCL, may begin importation of 110,000 barrels of crude oil per day from Venezuela or Saudi Arabia to operate the Kaduna refinery due to come on stream next year. Also, the Dangote and the BUA and other refineries may be forced to import about 1.322 million barrels of crude oil per day amid oil production challenges in Nigeria. Existing contract on crude oil swap as well as other commercial issues. Currently, the Dangote refinery with 650,000 barrels per day refining capacity is relying on imported crude, while the BUA refinery within the South-South region would need about 200,000 barrels per day of crude oil from next year. NNPCL is also looking to bring back its 445,000 barrels per day refineries between next month and next year. While the existing modular refineries will require 27,000 barrels per day, Nigeria has been struggling to sustain its crude oil production. The country currently records 113.52 million barrels shortfall in meeting the Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries (OPEC) output quota. The loss alone is about $8.9 billion in the first 7 months of 2023. That is what we have lost as a country. We've lost about $8.9 billion. While OPEC's production quota allocated to Nigeria stand at about 1.742 million barrels per day, figures from the Nigerian Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission (NUPRC) show that output has been averaging about 1.1 million barrels. The NNPCL is with current obligation to supply crude to contractors, but the recent borrowing of $3 billion tí Buhari yá àti Ọ̀ṣínbàjò from Africa's Bank would drastically reduce the volume of crude the national oil company could provide to the local market. The Nigerian Upstream Regulatory Commission is currently dragging oil producers in an attempt to enforce Section 109 of the Petroleum Industry Act (PIA), which introduced Domestic Crude Supply Obligation (DCSO) to Nigeria's oil industry to ensure domestic refineries are not starved of crude oil supply. Although the regulatory is threatening a fine of $10,000, a penalty of 50% of their fiscal price per barrel of crude oil not delivered to refineries, and denial of export permit, many of the crude oil producers are worried over commercial issues that may come up in such a transaction. They are concerned about the logistics side of supply and the safety of their data with NUPRC. They added that refineries will need to convince them that the off-takers have dollars to pay for crude oil sustainably. Besides, most of the producers are divesting owing to crude oil theft, insecurity in the Niger Delta region, and other problems bedeviling the oil and gas sector. Increment of the devil. Renowned energy expert Dan Kunle said crude oil importation would not be ruled out next year for NNPCL-owned refineries because the daily local production is being hampered by poor investment. As long as the federal government continues to hold controlling shares in all the petroleum companies in Nigeria, there will be no crude oil and gas. Once the assets are transferred to private sector investors, the industry will shape up, Kunle said. He alluded to the fact that the country's product pipeline are very weak and long out of use. There are too many cross-cutting issues in infrastructural framework. It is very highly likely that Port Harcourt refinery may not resume operation, he said. He noted that there is a huge local add on the cost to a liter of petroleum product owing to inefficient, unreliable infrastructural facilities to support movement of products. According to him, refineries are designed for crude oil type and product yield. Therefore, take note of this side. The Kaduna refinery, being designed for heavy crude type, would need to import from Venezuela and Saudi Arabia for bitumen and heavy fuel, which are for industrial use. So that means the Kaduna refinery was not built to take crude oil from Nigeria for its own operation. Don't ask me how they got that sorted out. How did they get to that stage? I don't know. The current economic reality is inconsequential if PIA 2021 is implemented according to the intent of the law and not necessarily the letter of the law with subjectivity, Iledare said. According to him, road and pipeline infrastructure will be major challenge for the coming on stream of the Port Harcourt refinery. I have a strong disposition to believe their ongoing effort to rehabilitate the roads and the pipeline infrastructure to facilitate product distribution. There just has to be a credible plan to do just that if value is to be created from the refinery rehabilitation investment, Iledare said. Former president of the Chartered Institute of Bankers of Nigeria, CIBN, and professor of economics at Babcock University, Segun Ajibola, is worried over the sustainability of supply of Kaduna refinery and the profitability if they have to import, if the import should keep coming from Saudi Arabia or Venezuela. The cost of production, according to him, may become unrealistic, thereby impacting the sale at the pump. He said that though the prevailing situation might push private refiners to import, the ability of the NNPCL to effectively and efficiently manage such an arrangement is important. Ajibola said, I would have thought that a more sustainable strategy is to find solution to the recurring challenges militating against crude oil production in Niger Delta. I believe Nigeria has enough oil reserves. The time is right for a holistic approach to resolving the multiple challenges limiting oil drilling operations in especially the Niger Delta. This may be a more enduring solution rather than a stopgap measure of crude imports. The expert also expressed worry over the plan coming on the stream of the Port Harcourt refinery, saying pipeline and roads have strong impact on lifting of products from the refinery. Other experts also recall that the state of the road from the refinery may stall evacuation of products from the facility. Although Renault Construction Company, RCC, was seen on site last week working on the Eleme section of the east-west road near the facility, it might take more than a year to make the road motorable again. Communities are already being thrown into panic over the development as they fear possible explosion of the NNPC product pipeline or tankers. in the face of the huge subsidy payment that drained the country's foreign exchange and sparked exchange rate problem to record wars, President Bola Tinubu, who had deregulated the downstream petroleum sector, announced that Port Harcourt refinery would resume operation next month. For 6 days, NNPCL spokesperson Iyabo Abayomi Ojo could not provide information on the exact plan of the corporation to ensure evacuation of refined product from the refinery. The Kaduna refinery was designed to refine heavy crude primarily from Venezuela and Saudi Arabia. You might be asking yourself why. Nigeria built a refinery to import from Saudi Arabia and Venezuela. Your guess is as good as mine. The North knew that they were going to exit from Nigeria. It's just that the Yoruba people are not prepared for such. What a sad situation. The declaration by the group chief executive producer of NNPCL, Mele Kyari, and the Minister of the State for Petroleum Resources, Anikin Lokopobiri, that the facility being rehabilitated along with other assets for $2.2 billion will start work next year, is an indication that the state oil firm would have to import crude oil for its operation. Abayomi Ojo could not make clarification on the planned importation, which could see NNPCL transporting the crude with tankers from Lagos to Kaduna in the face of pipeline challenges. Last month, after being accused of secretly awarding contracts to some northern companies, the NNPCL now disclosed that some 16 companies were offered contracts to rehabilitate the pipeline. Oilserve Limited, Chukong Steel Pipe Group Company Limited, Saudi Crown Oilserve are to handle Lot 1. Lot 2 is to be handled by Mac Ready Oil and Gas Services, Cobra Instancious SA, Control Y Montages, Industrialists and International The Pipelines, Iron Product Industry Limited, Battlelit Wind Global Services Limited, Buen Empresa Constructor SAU, Sadoton Energy Limited, and the Spanish National Association of Manufacturers. And you think all these want Nigeria to break? They joke. When we are ready, we will know what to do to ask for our rights. The Lot 3 is to be handled by AA Reno, Zaklam Construction Nigeria, Bab Links Resources Limited, VAE Controls, SRO. All these now, they create all these. Some of them are proxies, okay? Don't believe all these names. They are proxies. Same owned by the politicians. Because what they are, in case sorry to to stop there. I said I was not going to do any explanation there. These are the people that will fix the pipeline, okay? The pipeline where they use. Lot 4 will be handled by MRS Oil and Gas and the CPPE Nigeria Limited. The contract are to be executed on build, operate, and transfer BOT agreement as selected partners are to finance the rehabilitation. NNPCL was silent on the cost of the jobs, timeline for completion, and how long the companies will operate those assets. Many of you don't know what is going on in Nigeria. A pipeline expert, Osaro Gomba, told The Guardian in Eleme that there was no sign that product pipeline from Eleme refinery was being repaired. He warned that with the pipeline already facing serious integrity problems, the NNPCL could ignite serious explosion if products are transported through those pipelines. The national president of the Nigerian Association of Road Transport Owners, NATO Yusuf Othman expressed worry over what he called persistent distribution challenges owing to bad road network and the cost of diesel. While the heavy truck section of the National Union of Road Transport Workers within the South-South, Southeast corridors, comprising 11 states, lamented the hauling product out of the region had remained a mirage. Also lamenting the worsening state of the road within the region, especially Port Harcourt into Benin into Okene in Kogi State, Calabar into Taraba, and Enugu into Otukpo in Benue State. The chairman of the National Union Road Transport Workers Monitoring Committee, South-South and Southeast Heavy Truck, Mohammed Giwa, said over 15 members of the union had been kidnapped in the last few months by gunmen, and the group lost 194.4 billion naira yearly to illegal and multiple tax collectors. Elese Eleme in Port Harcourt. Also, lamenting the worsening state of the road within the region, especially Port Harcourt into Benin into Okene in Kogi State, Calabar into Taraba, Enugu into Otukpo in Benue State. The chairman of the National Union Road Transport Monitoring Committee, South-South and East, Giwa, said over 15 members. Okay, I've read that already. So let me just do a quick debrief of what I've read. Many of you don't know how the money is being moved in Nigeria. That is where the money is. Oil and gas. That is where the money is going. First and foremost, the question we should ask ourselves is, báwo ló ṣe kọ́ refinery tí kò ní accept crude oil tí ó wà nínú Nigeria? Was it deliberate? Was it a mistake? Was the project compromised? Who gave the all clear for the Kaduna refinery that is not going to accept Nigerian crude oil, but it will accept Saudi Arabia and Venezuela? Many Nigerians don't know what is going on at home. I pity a lot of you. That is how far I can go. I wish I can go further, but I can't. The Yoruba will exit. It will take a lot of work, which is what we are doing. You're asking why you are poor. You've heard it there in that article I just read. You've heard it there in what Turkey is exporting as against Nigeria. You're asking yourself, is it still worth staying in Nigeria? It's up to you to decide. My job is to present. Yours is to accept or throw it in the bin. But one day, every single one of us will be held accountable for the role that we played in trying to save Nigeria, or the other way around for those of us that are trying to pull it down before it is too late. Thank you so much. Have a blessed day. I've done a lot videos in the last 48 hours. You can go back and watch some of them. Remember, it is Koiki Media bringing the world closer to your doorstep. And on that note, I'm just going to take a bow. I appreciate every one of you for joining us this afternoon. Remember to follow us on the platforms where we stream all the time. But one thing is, Yoruba people have had enough of the contraction called Nigeria. Nigeria has failed us, but who should we hold responsible for the atrocity that Nigeria has committed on us? And on that note, I say good afternoon. àṣìṣe àṣìṣe.